My name is Bob Berridge and we run a company called BBM Sport based in Daventry. We specialise in prototypes similar to the car behind me, the Sauber Mercedes C9.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Minassian and I'm here today to show you some of the beautiful cars that we've got just here, or let's say everywhere in this workshop at BBM Sport. I am here as well to try to make you feel what is like this car, because I've got such good memory about that car.
They're not cars really, they're pieces of art. You know, they've had millions and millions of pounds invested in them.
But then after those cars, you know what they do? You take all those cars, all those beautiful piece of, for me they're like jewelries, you know. They put them in a warehouse, all the stock, all the parts, and they leave them there. Because that's what happened, they need space. And they move into another program and they get forgotten.
The C9 sat in Donington Museum. I felt like it had tears rolling down its eyes, like the famous film star who becomes a bag lady, you know, what have I come to, what have I come to?
I don't think there is many people apart the professional driver than I drive this. And it's quite a privilege actually to drive these cars.
It is a privilege to drive these cars, and it's a privilege that's not lost on me. You know, I'm a working class boy from the northeast, and I could never have dreamed of driving a Mercedes C11 or a Peugeot 908.
When this car went into motorsport in 2007, it just was the fastest car there was at that time at Le Mans. It's a special car because it's a diesel power car, and at that time they introduced this kind of technology which wasn't yet into motorsport. So when Peugeot decided to go diesel, they went big. They went a big V12 engine, a 5.5 liter engine, and it changed the whole racing perspective. The main competitor was Audi, and they have been there for many years, so they was really well oiled team, you know, and so they was tough to beat. On pure pace, we were better. But you know, you don't think of the pressure. To be honest, you want to win, and you want when you do sports car racing and you go to Le Mans, you are in a car like this. Your aim is to win that race because it's a tough race to win, you know. That car, that Peugeot 908, was unbeatable. Nobody could beat it. So it was we always had the fastest car. It was I was sharing the car with Marc Genet and Jacques Villeneuve, and yeah, it was tough because we should have won and we didn't. So it was. The race was in my throat. It was a tough one, that one. But when the last time I drove that car, I wasn't yet under contract to drive the following year when the program stopped. All the time I drove it, I knew it could be the last time, so I really have a big emotional thing with it because it was some of the best time in my career.
I've been fortunate over the last 30 years to drive, you know, many special cars that I could have only ever dreamed of driving. But my favourite car that I've ever driven, and I've driven a Peugeot, is the C11. It's just a fantastic design. It tells you exactly what it's going to do. You feel as if you are as one with the car, so you don't feel like you're driving a car, you feel like you're part of the car, and it tells you exactly what it's going to do. You know, it feeds you instantaneous messages about grip. The Sauber C9 and the Mercedes C11 come from an era which many people considered would be the greatest era of sports car racing. It was called Group C, where you had a lot of factories taking part, like Toyota, Porsche, Mercedes, Nissan. It's a fantastic car, one of the greatest cars I've ever driven. Lots of power, lots of downforce, lots of grip. Top line drivers in period drove them, ex-F1 sports car champions like Mauro Baldi. Michael Schumacher drove the C11 in testing. Karl Wendlinger, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Jochen Mass. The Peugeots, people like Stefan Sarrazin, Nicolas Manassian, Jacques Villeneuve drove the Peugeots. And I think I much prefer these cars on the track, racing, than being sat in museums or collectors' garages.
I love seeing them like this. I love when I see somebody new driving those cars. I mean, they're such a special piece. They are really, really special. They used to be the car to beat at every track you used to go in this time. So if they're driving it now and they're loving it, I'm so happy.
I would personally like to see these cars racing till I can't get out of my wheelchair.
Lots of low, but the little high you have are so high that you forget quickly about the low. So he's my life, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about it.
It's the one place where you absolutely feel like you're in the moment. You don't think of anything else. The adrenaline's coursing through your veins. The excitement of getting the last corner done, the next corner. You're just purely in the moment. And I've never experienced that in anything else I've ever done.
I am a very good racing driver, I can say, no? Can I say that? Yeah. I am the fucking dog's bollocks. Yeah, there is one funny story which, to be honest, I'm not very proud of. Even if I was proud of it at the time, and I don't know if many people know that. And I'm just gonna say it because it's funny, you know, and it's a long time ago now. But I remember with Stefan Sarrazin, he was my, we had two cars in a ELMS, and we was very competitive each other, but like very good friend. He's still a very good friend of mine. He's a very close friend, a very good driver as well. And competition, all the time you have competition between drivers. Even if he's your friend, you want to kick his ass, okay? So we were at Spa. We haven't done any lap yet with the car. And I mean, they're fast, those cars. And you know, Eau Rouge, this very famous corner. And it's to go flat in that corner with those cars, it was not easy. It was like, it takes a bit of, you know, bit of breathing. If I don't want to say the other words, you know, it's ballsy. But we had a silly bet together, you know, like oh Stefan, I bet you €50 that you're not going flat on the first lap out of the box in Eau Rouge, which is you know, is if the team will hear that, they will be horrified, you know. And we did the bet, which was a silly bet, because don't forget you had about you know, we arrived nearly at 300k in this corner. And I had a little problem with the car, so I couldn't start the session the same time as him. So I was still in the box, and I could look at the data on the screen. And Stefan went out, And I was looking at the screen, I was thinking, oh no, shit, he's gonna go fast. He did a whole lap, then he went in a rouge, bang, first lap, he didn't lift, flat, you know. It just make you feel like, oh gosh, I've got to do it, you know, because it just make you feel like if I'm not doing it, I'm like, I'm not as good as him. So I went out and I did it, you know, but it was, if you think in the scheme of things, is silly, it's dangerous, you know. But together, when he came out of the car and I came out of the car, we both went to see the engineers, and they okay, can we look on the first lap? We didn't say anything to them, and we look at the trace of the throttle trace, and you could see it was flat, you know. So I say, yeah, it's flat. And I go, Nick, let's look at yours. It's flat. And we look at each other. I say, all right, okay. It was like I think it's an ego thing, which was stupid, you know. That's one of the story, silly story. I think the engineer, they're gonna hear that and they are gonna thinking, oh, you're so stupid. But he's in 2008, that I think. Yeah, it was very. I remember it being very emotional at Le Mans in 2009, because when we had a problem with my teammate Pedro Lamy, got punted in the pit lane, and we had a puncture and so on. All we did in the race is push really hard and try things for the leading cars. So when there was a tire change, to change a compound or something like that, we used to put it in our car and see if it works. You know, so we were the test car in the race for the leading cars. So if we had a softer compound to try, we would try it. But then the race go on, and it was you always find a way to motivate yourself. So I did the fastest lap of the race that year, actually. So it was I got something out of it for myself, personal glory, you know. But when the race was at the end, you have at Le Mans, when it's finished, you have all the marshal who come out with the flag, your last lap. And I remember on the radio they told me, Nick, just you are going to arrive behind Marc Genet. I think he was Frank Montani, or I don't remember who. He was on the other car and me to finish the race. And we do the last lap, the three of us together, because there was no chance of the other car courting anybody. So, and we do an arrival, the three car like this. But you know, you have done Le Mans and you hardly sleep for nearly 30 hours, because you wake up at 7 in the morning, and then the stress, the tiredness, you never sleep much. So you are emotional because you're tired, even if you can take the best out of yourself still, you know. And when they told me to go there, and I said on the radio, okay, I'll just go there, and I was there, and I could see Marc Genet on the other car, which he was my teammate for 2 years before, you know. And we switched the team that year for one reason or another. And you feel like, oh gosh, you know, you feel I was crying in the car, you know, because I was thinking, I was happy to see the car winning, but you cannot not think about yourself at one point or another. You have to be truthful about it. You cannot say, oh, I'm so happy Peugeot has won Le Mans. Yeah, I was really happy, because he's on the scheme of things, he gives you the chance to stay there. But personally, I was like crying, because I was thinking, gosh, he's won Le Mans and I still haven't won it. And it's my third time with Peugeot and my third time having the best car, and I still haven't won it. And I never won it. But I finished second, I finished third. But he was really emotional. There's lots of him. Actually, he's really crying so much sometimes. I was in the car. And on the radio, they was trying to talk to me on the radio, saying, yeah, like this, you know. Saying, I'm so stupid, you know. But the other car was the same than me, yeah? And the podium, they were crying, and he was like, but he was great. When you have this, then after we had a massive party, you know, at Le Mans, the whole team, we all got quite wasted, and we had a good laugh. And it's funny because you are so happy, sad, happy. It was good fun. It was such a big family, that team. I have such fond memory of this. Okay. Go on. Once we were at Petit Le Mans, And we won Petit Le Mans, which is like a big race, you know. It's a 10-hour race. And so I finished second again. I'm the king of second. So it's better than nothing, isn't it? And after the race, we went to the Tequila Patron tent, which is just another team where the tequila sponsor. And we just completely forget ourselves, you know, then there was nothing else to do, you know. We go, the team was packing up, and we had a few tequilas, and actually more than a few, you know, until an hour later when we were in full motion having a good laugh with the other team, with the other drivers. The team manager came and tell us, hey guys, we've got 200 guests there. We have the team chat with all the guests, you know. And that was funny, you know. And I say, guys, we're not feeling too good, you know. We're not too clever now. And then we went back into the tent, and we had all those guesses, and the boss of Peugeot Sport was Olivier Quesnel at the time, and we have Pascal Dimitri, which was the team manager, and we were like not looking too clever, you know, with a microphone and a few tequila down your throat, and trying to hold on to be straight. Oh, it was very funny. We went through it. And we had a bit of a talk. They told us off a little bit as well, but hey, it's a good banter, you know. I've put it very gently, actually. It was worse than that. We were like this, you know. But to be honest, all those stories, even like the silly ones, is part of what makes you the team strong, you know. You have like a good friendship. Even you have 2 or 3 cars in the team, and you have even if you have 2 or 3 cars, you have rivalry. You're fighting against, because the guy who's got the same car as you is your worst. Is the guy who's going to be the hardest one to beat, because he's got the same car as you. If you're fighting against the other car from another team, you're going to find something better than in your car than they have. So we were fighting hard, but still good fun. Fighting hard on track, and outside of it, it was really good fun. There was another fun things we did is we at Peugeot Sport they managed to, in this small little cockpit, to take everything away and to squeeze a passenger in it, which was a great idea because, and obviously I am a pretty small guy, so I was the guy who was going to take the passenger because I can be squeezed on the side, and so we cut the seat, and the guy when he was seated side of you was part of your seat, so his shoulder was shoulder against shoulder. And this is, I mean, it's really quick car. So to have a passenger in there, it was like pretty much of a scary experience. I remember taking a guy who won a competition of somebody who just had all his life a van from Peugeot Sport, from Peugeot van for the market. And he won this competition, then he was going to be taken as a passenger for the 908, and he never been really a big fan of racing or anything. He's just a fan of the brand. And when I took him as a passenger, I remember coming out of the pits, taking the speed limiter off, and I told him, you put your hands up if you don't feel too good, you know. And all I could feel is like all the time I take a corner, his head was doing bah! On the side, like and I don't think he saw anything, you know. It was like painful, he looked like, but I thought, well, he doesn't say anything, he's fine. And when we stopped, we had to take him out because he couldn't go out of the car. And actually he had a little bit of a problem with his inside, you know, so he had to go to hospital and to be checked, you know. So he ended up being okay, you know, but that's how harsh he was. And there was another time where I went to, we were at the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans, and it was a special event for the Prime Minister, Monsieur Fillon, François Fillon it was. And he was going to drive the car, but first, before he drove the car, he was coming as a passenger. And I remember him sitting in the car, and we all had chat before. Yeah, he's Prime Minister, so you. But I am in my environment, so I feel quite comfortable. And he sat in the car and he looked at me and said, "So, Nicholas, you know who I am, huh?" And I told him, I say, "Yes, I know, but you know who I am as well." And he looked at me and he said, "Okay." And I told him, "You raise your hands if you don't feel too good, you know." And it's true, and it's really powerful, the thing, you know. When I went out to the pit lane and took the speed limiter off and put the gear up, and his hands raised, but by the time his hands raised, I've already taken the chicane flat out. And I think by that time he realized no point raising my hands, he's not going to slow down. So he put his hand down and just took it in for 2 laps. I drove like an absolute maniac, safely, but really pushed really hard. And when he come out of the car, I remember looking at me, he said, "Okay, I'm not going to do what you did, but I'm going to enjoy myself when I drive the car." And it was a good experience to see him. You could see in his eyes that he was really impressed. But he's always impressive. If you're not in control of the machine, he's always going to impress you. I have been a passenger and I don't like it. So I bet he must have been. I've been asked to go as a passenger in the 908 once, and I didn't do it because I sort of don't feel like it, you know. But yeah, it was a funny experience. We did it with many people.